All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the regular meeting of the City of Desert Hot Springs Public Safety Commission on Thursday, September 8th of 2022. We'll call the meeting to order. Can we get a roll call, please?
Commissioner Eastman?
Here.
Commissioner Lozano?
I understand she called in, so.
Yes, sir. Commissioner Mitchell?
Present.
Vice Chair Muse?
And he called in to myself that he's not going to be here tonight. so.
Excellent. And Chair Meyer?
Present. All right, so we do have a quorum, so we'll go ahead and move forward. Let's get the Pledge of Allegiance in. Ken, would you lead us, please?
Absolutely. Please stand and face the flag. Cover your heart if you wish. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Approval of the agenda. It's a real short agenda. I thought we had a couple other things that were supposed to be there.
You know, I was talking with the city clerk, Gerald, and he said just anything that we could take forward, just to make sure that we run it by the city manager's office. So anything that needs to be set up on that, and that's why the city attorney, Jennifer, was here last time, too. So, like, if you guys want to have something put on.
Well, we put something on there a couple months ago, didn't we?
I didn't see anything on there.
No, that was supposed to show up this month, but.
I believe it was a cannabis compliance, like,
No, we got that taken care of.
Oh, you did?
I think the issue was going to be the staffing at the police department.
That's correct. I remember that as
So-
well.
But you know what, it's probably better it's not going today, and we can put it on the agenda for next month. Okay. Yeah, so, but anyway, yeah, so I need a approval on the agenda, motion and a second.
I motion to approve. I'll second.
Okay. Do you want to do hand votes, or do you want to do it on the computer?
you guys are logged in.
We're logged in? Okay, yeah, so we have a first and a second for approval of the agenda.
Oh, mine's not coming through.
If you want to do, we can do voice.
Yeah, let's go. Roll
You want
call
to do roll
vote?
call?
Okay.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Commissioner Eastman?
Yes.
Commissioner Mitchell?
Yes.
Chair Meyer?
Yes,
Motion passed unanimously.
great, thank you. Okay. All right, we're going to go to public comments. At this time, pursuant to the Brown Act, any person may comment on matters of general interest within the subject matter jurisdiction of the Public Safety Commission not listed on the agenda. Under the Brown Act, the Public Safety Commission should not take action on or discuss matters raised during public comment portion of the agenda that are not listed on the agenda. I should probably wear my glasses. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per speaker. Speakers may not yield their time to others without consent of the chair. All comments are to be directed to the Public Safety Commission and shall be devoid of any personal attacks. Members of the public are expected to maintain a professional, courteous decorum during public comments. Please complete and submit a speaker card to the city clerk. You will be asked to state your name and city of residence for the record. I do have one card from a Mr. David Karp. So if there's a button in the middle, I think it's on. There you go.
It's
Thank
on,
you, sir.
yes. Yes, I'm David Karp, and I reside in DHS, and I'm going to speak to you about something I'm rather concerned about. There's an accident waiting to happen. You're taking your life in your hands if you make a left turn onto the public library parking lot when driving south on Palm Drive, or even worse, when trying to go left onto Palm Drive while exiting the parking lot at the grocery outlet. There's a virtually unbroken stream of heavy traffic along that stretch of Palm Drive that makes it nearly impossible to get through. It is also very dangerous for pedestrians who are unable to cross in this area. We desperately need a stoplight or at least a stop sign and marked pedestrian crosswalk between the market and library. I already contacted the mayor and all council members about this last fall and was told that they had already put in a request for a permit and funding that was expected to go through in early spring of 2022. However, so far nothing has come of it. I'd like to know what's happening about this issue now. Also, I have never set foot inside our beautiful new public library, because I've been unable to spot an entrance to their parking facilities. I'm sure they must have a parking lot somewhere behind the building, but there is no marked entryway that shows vehicles where to go. The same problem exists with a new dollar store on Palm Drive, and even with this very City Hall. It would be a very simple, low-cost matter to put in a few signs with arrows in front of these buildings pointing to parking areas. And that's my comment.
All right, thank you, sir. Yeah, and we've heard that before about that location, and it's not as easy as everyone thinks it is to put a light somewhere or put a stop sign.
No, I
There's,
understand.
yeah, there's traffic studies and liability, and we actually just went through a huge traffic study, and one was not recommended during that traffic study. So, but I think Assistant City Manager Porras is looking at that, so he's looking at a way to work with it. So.
Meanwhile, I'm just not using the library.
Okay, thank you, sir. All righty, let's go ahead and move on to the administrative reports. Animal Control Monthly Report.
I do not have it, but Stephanie called me at the last moment. She had an emergency, so unfortunately she's not here. But I can give you some quick updates. I don't have their stats in front of me, but I can tell you.
Yeah, we've got them, Steve.
You should have the stats. Obviously, Stephanie's back, not
Good.
full-time, but on a part-time basis, so it's great to have her back in the office. I know I missed the last meeting, and then the meeting before that, before you guys broke. I can't remember, but if you knew that Officer Talley had left.
Mhm.
He and his family moved out of state. So we still have Officer Van Warren over there. We have 2 temporary workers that are still helping out over there with the cleaning and care of the animals during the day. We've gone through several interviews. Stephanie and Tom Pettinger are doing interviews for animal control officer. A little bit tough on the applicants for those, but I know they do have a couple that are getting ready to go to background, so hopefully we'll be able to get someone through there and get them some additional help over there. So right now the hours are a little bit staggered over there because Stephanie can't work a full shift yet, and then Ken, we still want to give him at least 1 day off a week and stuff. So the times when animal control is closed for the public, if they go there and it's closed, it's open every day still, but some days it's only open till noon. So we're still able to cover 7 days a week, but some days it's from 8 to noon, and then it's closed. So if folks go there, they need a licensing or something like that, and it's closed, we apologize, but they can either give us a call or just come back the next day and get there before noon, and we'll get them taken care of. Currently, we are way over capacity, unfortunately, right now. I think we're at about 41, 42 dogs, 9 cats. And it's just, I mean, we see it at all the shelters throughout the valley and stuff, unfortunately. We're really trying hard not to take any to county. We've taken a few there just because we've just gotten so overstaffed that we've had to take some there. But obviously our goal is not to take any there, is to get them out, get them adopted, and find the owners and stuff. So we're still doing that. The month of September, there's a special going on right now. You can come in for $5. You can get your animal chipped. So $5, come on in, get it chipped. That way, if your dog or cat, or whatever, gets out, it's an easy way for us to track you down and get your pet back to you. And then we were going to set it up in September, but I think we're going to do it in October. We're going to set up licensing too, and I think it was going to be $15 a special for the month. So we're trying to get some stuff to get folks to get the animals licensed, get them chipped. That way, if they do get out, we can get them back to you as quickly as possible. But other than that, if you have any particular questions, I'll try and answer them, or I'll get you the answer for them.
Lee? No? Ken?
Well, just briefly, because you mentioned the truncated hours and the staffing challenges. Is there a recorded message so if people call your office, they're aware of the changes that are temporary, but nevertheless affecting your operation?
Yeah, it's on there, and it's posted on the outside of animal control there on the posted hours and stuff. So it is out there, and I think even on Stephanie maintains the social media part, the Facebook part of that, and I think she even put it on the Facebook part of that. So.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I mean, people may sit there and go, well, that's like $20 to get my dog chipped, but I think when we had the county, it was $60 to get your dog chipped,
Yeah, it's a big discount.
and it was like $180 to get your dog licensed through when we had the county servicing us. So
Yeah, Yeah, and we, not only with that, but Stephanie's really good. If your animal gets out, we don't, even if we have to house it for a few days and stuff, we do not, and she reduces most of the fees for it. We get the animals in there, we feed them, we make sure they're healthy, but you're not going to come in and get hit with a $200 bill, $300 bill. Stephanie's really good. She understands the community, and we're not making money off of it. It's just, it's a lot of animals, so we want you, if you're missing your animal, come in, give us a call, come by and see if we have it.
Well,
Yeah.
when do you think Stephanie will be full-time again?
She's probably at least 6 to 12 months. I mean, she's doing better, doing a lot better.
That's good.
Getting her strength back and stuff, but the doctor still just has her working half days, just so she doesn't we don't want her obviously to overdo it and have to be out and stuff. So if she could, she'd be there 24 hours a day,
Very good work.
That's her passion, and she's there, and she hates not being there the full day and stuff, and sometimes we got to tell her, hey, it's time for you to go and stuff, so
We
very
miss her.
committed.
She's a good worker.
Yeah, and just, I know Commander Chang's coming out to the College of the Desert Public Safety
Yes.
Academy on Tuesday, or Sergeant Contreras, I believe, is coming. Carranza, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. And please remind him to mention that we have code enforcement and.
Yeah, I will.
And because if they graduate Module 3, they have the 832 certification they need to
For animal control.
to
And
issue
code.
citations and
Yes.
do all of that, so. And, some of the young people in my course there, they understand it, they may not ever be police officers, but it's still a great service to be animal control and,
Yeah, and it's a
Code
great
enforcement.
way to get your foot in the door
yeah.
with the city and exposure to the department and the rest of the city too.
I think he's also going to talk to them about communities, the CSO positions you have.
Excellent.
So, yeah, we're looking forward to that. So, okay. We'll move on then. Code Compliance Monthly Report. We don't have anyone from Code Enforcement.
We do not, unfortunately, they're in Long Beach at a conference.
Okay, so we do have their report. They issued about $23,000 worth of citations. That doesn't mean we're going to collect 23,000. We issued, but that's not the goal. The goal is not to make money. So, but let me see. They're talking, in their report, they talk a lot about illegal dumping, working with Desert Valley Disposal to clear a lot of that up. 33 abandoned shopping carts on the one day, 35 on another day. So they're out there picking stuff up. Yeah, and they're off at the thing there. So that's what's in their report. And actually look forward to talking to them next month about a couple things maybe. So, one of the things I was going to ask them about is, I know FiOS they had to bury lines up in the north part of the city. And they dug the trenches and they put the lines in and then they put dirt in, but they didn't cap it with any. It's going to rain tomorrow and Saturday, so it'll be interesting to see if there's anything left. But they're not here to talk about it. So, okay, we'll move on. We'll go ahead and file those. Fire Department monthly report, Chief.
Good evening, Don Camp, County Chief, Fire Riverside County Fire, for Division Chief Mike Bettman. Statistics for the month of August, we have a total of 462 responses in the city of Desert Hot Springs. We met under 5 minute criteria, 216 times of that 462, just over 5 minutes on 125 of them. Average response time for the month was about 5 minutes and 6 seconds. We had a total of 375 engine responses here in Desert Hot Springs. We provided mutual aid to our partner cities 90 times. We received mutual aid 275 times. Included in that was 2 times with a breathing support, 20 times with a chief officer, 236 times with an engine, 2 hazmat responses, 7 squad responses, and 2 truck responses. We also did have an incident that we had County Emergency Management Department in cooperation with the American Red Cross provide some services for some citizens that were displaced by a residential structure fire. And 2 significant incidences that are listed there for you to read. Other than that, end of report.
Okay, questions for the Chief?
Have we responded to any of these fires that's been around, like Hammett and all that?
So previously, Commissioner Mitchell had asked me about our mutual aid system
Yeah.
at a previous meeting. We were able to respond and provide assistance for the Fairview fire in Hemet. I have the current statistics on that fire if you'd like to hear those. They just updated it at 6 o'clock. So I can pull it up here. So the fire is currently at just under 24,000 acres. It's 5% contained. We're still doing damage inspection on the structures that were damaged or destroyed by the fire. We did have 2 fatalities, 2 civilian fatalities and 1 civilian injury. There have been no firefighter fatalities or injuries. There continues to be a threat to structures, critical infrastructure, endangered species, watershed, and cultural and heritage resources. We have approximately 1,000 firefighters assigned to the incident at this time. We're very, very concerned about the weather pattern that's being produced by the hurricane coming up the coast. They are anticipating very, very high velocity winds over the fire incident here in the next day or two that could drastically spread the fire. But while we provided assistance for the fire, we were able to backfill through our cooperative fire protection agreement with the county. As a matter of fact, we have an additional paramedic squad and an additional engine staffed in the valley right now to provide some surge protection behind the equipment that was dispatched to the fire.
Very good, thank you.
Ken?
Just a quick question. You mentioned some of the statistics from the Fairview fire. I was wondering if you guys ever have access to, and these are old parameters, they may not even be in existence anymore, but I do remember that if you had a fire that had a civilian death, a firefighter death or injury, or over $1 million worth of damage, that you could access the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and I guess it's explosives now, to assist you in cause and origin investigation. Has that ever been considered, ever been utilized?
That is a resource that's available to us. CAL FIRE and the State Fire Marshal Office has law enforcement officers as well as arson and bomb investigators that we utilize to investigate these type of things. Anytime there's a death on a fire incident, our law enforcement people are automatically engaged in that. If there's any indication that it may have been due to a criminal act or intentional, then we also work in concert with the Riverside County Sheriff's Department Homicide Bureau.
Excellent. Okay. And I just had a brief question about the 2 hazmat responses that you had in Desert Hot Springs. Specifically, were they investigative in nature, or were there actual mitigation efforts?
They were incidents that were reported as hazmats. Our hazmat team did come out and assess the incident. They weren't actual releases, and the incident was quickly mitigated and turned over to County Environmental Health.
Okay, great. All right, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, I mean, looking at the numbers, Chief, how many incidents did 37 go to?
I don't have a breakdown for that. I apologize.
I mean, when I look at the numbers, we had 462 incidents, but mutual aid came out to 275 of them, which means that's over half.
So that number is a little bit misleading because you need to remember that if we have a structure fire here in the city of Desert Hot Springs, Engine 36 and Engine 37 will respond. Those are your Desert Hot Springs resources. Anytime we get assistance from Palm Springs or Cathedral City or any of the outlying county stations, those are considered part of the mutual aid numbers.
Yeah, but I'm looking at, I mean, commercial fire, it says 2, other fire 6, I don't know what that is. Is that like dumpsters or something?
Vehicles, dumpsters,
Yeah, 8.
outside
So that gives
fires.
us 8 fires, residential 2, you know, so that puts us at 10, and then we had 16 fires. So if we
Right.
had 2 more engines, that's 32, but we've got 236 engine mutual aid responses.
So as part of our standard response plan with CAL FIRE, Riverside County Fire Department, the U contract with Fire Services for, any structure fire automatically receives 4 engines and a chief officer. So given the fact that you only have 2 engines here in Desert Hot Springs, every time you have a fire, you're receiving mutual aid resources. So that's why the numbers seem to be a little bit inflated.
I don't know, I mean, that's still only like 48. It's, or about 4 times 6, 64. Sorry. Yeah.
Again, as I indicated, that's part of the standard response plan.
Uh-huh.
If it's a working fire, those resources will be augmented by additional engines, the breathing support, possibly a truck company, and that would drive those numbers up.
I'd kind of like to see what 37 is doing, if we can, in the future.
Okay.
It kind of tells me where we're at and what we're doing, so.
Well,
Yeah.
37 continues to be the busiest engine company in the county of Riverside. Out of our 101 stations, they're at the top of the heap.
Yeah, I just would be interested to see how many incidents 37 handled.
I'll try to get that information for you
Okay,
for the next
cool.
meeting.
All right, thank you, Chief.
Can we have 36 too?
Sure.
Okay, he asked for that, not me. Okay, cool. Any other questions for the chief? No? All right. All right, let's move on to the police department report. Chief?
All right. So let's talk about some crime stats first. I'll kind of go over August and July both since we didn't meet last month. First for August, and just a heads up on this, I know you'll be as excited about this as I am. We're back to reporting with NIBRs. If you remember when we were with NIBRs. Good and bad, it's the growing pains again. Just a little background on that. Obviously, we were with Mark 43. Lots of issues with that platform. A lot of issues reporting with NIBRs with that platform. We ended up going back to Alliance. And so they just, in August, we started reporting again. And actually today was our first day where it was actually sent to DOJ. It comes back with certain errors and stuff, so there's some growing pains still. Most of those errors were on their end, on the siren end, and not on our end, so that is good. But the whole point of that is the numbers in August, those may change as we work out those errors to get some numbers. But I do know we didn't have any homicides in August. In July, unfortunately, we did have 3. But some background on those. I say some background, any homicide's bad. But we did have, unfortunately, a murder-suicide, domestic violence murder-suicide. And then we did have that incident, if you saw it on the Sunline bus.
Mm-hmm.
And that ended up being a manslaughter case. Unfortunately, the victim in that was actually the instigator. The suspect who was eventually arrested with that, more than likely, if he would have hung around, maybe it would not have been as serious. But unfortunately, he fled the scene and then incurred some other charges from his fleeing. But there was some backstory to that, that there was some history there, and unfortunately the actual victim on that homicide is the one that instigated the incident. So, but some little background on the homicides.
I think those buses are all recorded too, aren't they?
Yeah, everything was
so-
on video, and yeah.
Yeah, don't do
they're
a crime on a
they're
Sunline
they're
bus because
recorded.
it'll all be recorded, so.
You know, the motor vehicle thefts always come up. Obviously, in August, they look pretty low. I think once we work out the errors and stuff, we'll see we're still pretty consistent with what we've seen throughout since January and stuff, which runs probably at about an average of 12 autos a month with that. And then the rest of the numbers, again, as we continue through September, October, November, we work with that NIBR system. If you remember last time, we'll see an inflated numbers, but it's not necessarily meaning that there's an inflated crime that's going on. It's just it's reported differently and broken down differently, and we'll go over those as we go through the rest of the calendar year on those. For the statistics, we're still running. Officers still a lot of calls. For August, 2,101 calls for service. July was 2,270 calls for service. And then with officer-initiated calls and vehicle accidents, we're still running between 2,700, 2,800 calls a month for service with our current staff. Still staying, even though sometimes it doesn't look like it on the road, we're still staying pretty active with the traffic stops. August, 189 and 147 in July. Arrests continue to be pretty consistent. 87 arrests in July and 81 in August. And then citations, they went down a little bit in July to 68, but back up to 152 in August. So the officers are staying active out there. Calls for service are staying pretty consistent to what we see, but the proactive activity and stuff being out there is still consistent, especially with the staffing that we have and the workload that we're throwing at the officers. They're doing a fantastic job. A couple other things coming up. I think you all saw the open house for the dispatch that we had. Mm-hmm. So we're not completely operational yet. Dispatch construction is done. The only delay now is some technology pieces. So our dispatch center is the first of its kind in the state of California. It's a cloud-based 911 system, so there's some things that have never been put in place that are being put in place. So right now it's not on our end, it's on the state's end and the other providers' end and stuff, but it's come along. We expect it to be operational here in the next 30 days or so. So if you didn't make it to the open house, please get a hold of me. We'll get you over to see it. It's a fantastic facility, very state of the art. They just did a fantastic job on that. So we're excited with that. I won't get too much into staffing because I want to save some for next month, but we're doing great. We're doing actually excellent in our staffing for the dispatch center. If you check dispatch centers across the state, all of them are hurting. So initially we were set up for 10 full-time and 4 part-time employees. We currently have 9 full-time dispatchers hired and 2 part-time dispatchers hired, and we have 6 going through backgrounds right now. So we should have enough to fill what we're staffed for, and then a couple on standby in case some of those folks don't work out. Hopefully they all will. It's a mixture of folks that have some experience and some folks that have no experience whatsoever. So the first thing we're doing is send them into a post-dispatch course, which is a 3-week course. And then we're also right now, every single dispatcher that we've hired, they're currently working over in Cathedral City and dispatching for Desert Hot Springs. So Cathedral City, our contract was supposed to end with them, and then what we've done is so they don't have to do overtime backfill and stuff. Our folks are going over there, getting the experience, getting that training. We're dispatching 24/7 for Desert Hot Springs over there right now. So Cathedral City is really helping us out by allowing us to still utilize their facilities, and our folks are getting that training going on right now. So that's fantastic. For the officers, we're doing good. Next week, next Thursday, if you remember our community service officer, George Bailey, who started the academy about 6 months ago, he graduates next Thursday from the academy. And on Saturday, he'll be out starting his field training with us. So
That's a
we're
good young
excited-
man. I met him
excited to have
up
yeah.
at the public safety. Good young
Yeah.
man.
So, and he's one that
Nice guy.
hopefully he's kind of that test case subject, and it's going to expand for us that we got somebody in the door like we were talking earlier, whether it's through the community service officer program or animal control or code or anywhere in the city, to get them in the door. And if they have an interest in going full-time in the law enforcement and being a police officer, this gets their foot in the door. It gives us a chance to kind of look at them and everybody get a look at what the job entails and move them in that direction and stuff. So we're excited with that. We've brought on, since we last met, 2 additional new officers, which we'll be presenting to City Council here in the next month or so. So they're going through their field training right now. And we have brought on 2 additional community service officers. So not a huge amount of applicants, but we're getting some, and the ones that we're getting are really qualified folks and stuff. And we're moving them quickly. We're grabbing them and moving them quickly through the background process so that we don't lose them to another agency while you're competing through the background process.
That's smart. Yeah.
We haven't cut anything out of it. We're just, we have 2 background investigators now. We brought on an extra background investigator now so that we can divvy up the workload and move them quickly through that system. So that's been fantastic. Some other stuff coming up. If you guys know Detective Eddie Cole, he's been in the city here 35 years. He's decided to finally hang it up. His retirement's going to be on
Again?
September 21st at 2 Bunch Palms Resorts in the evening there. So if you happen to be interested in coming out and seeing them, just get with Roberta and RSVP to her. But everybody knows Eddie. So,
well deserved.
He's going to be sorely missed when he does leave and stuff. So we get these last few weeks with him. November 4th, we have the Support Services Banquet. This is a Coachella Valley, all the agencies in Coachella Valley. Desert Hot Springs is hosting it this year. The COVID epidemic postponed it for a couple of years, but this is the 13th annual Support Service Banquet. It's going to be held at the Renaissance Esmeralda Resort over in Indian Wells, again on November 4th. If you'd like some more information on that, then June Casey, our records and dispatch manager, can provide you any information you like on that, whether to join us or if you'd like to give a donation or just come out for the evening, something like that. Dinner served, and it should be a good time and stuff like that. So, Financially wise, what are we, July, August, September, a couple months and a week or so into the fiscal year. So right now, we're about 17% of the fiscal year through. Police department's at 16% of the budget, so right on track where we should be. Code compliance is 13% of the budget, and animal control is 10% of the budget. So pretty consistent to what we see in every fiscal year and every quarter and stuff, where we're at with the budget. Police department's usually right there where we're supposed to be, but still maintaining just below it. The 21-22 budget is just being wrapped up by Jeffrey and Jessica and those folks, and so probably by next meeting, we should give you a final overview on that. But I know
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see
Yeah.
where we landed.
I know the police department came under, but I can give you the exact numbers once they get those final.
Well, they should all be
final
under
numbers in.
because you've been understaffed, and that's your number
We
one
have been
cost.
in salary and,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's your
exactly, so.
Class one.
But that's about it, but certainly any questions, I'm happy to answer on the PD side.
Okay. Lee?
No, I don't have any. How are you doing with, as far as officers out IOD or for other reason?
So we have, let's see, we do have 2 officers out.
That isn't bad.
Both have been long-term. One is completely out, and another one is light duty, still working at the station, doing some admin work and stuff like
Light
that.
duty.
So it's not bad, considering, we've had over the last few months a few go out, but it's just been for a couple days or a week, and then able to come back. And
Very good.
so no serious injuries or anything like that.
Outstanding. That's
Yeah.
good. That's it with me.
Okay. That was a good question. I didn't think about that one. Ken?
Let's see. This may be more appropriate to when we discuss the staffing. I did have a question regarding procedure, and depending on how things are handled, it may relate to the staffing issue, which would then fall into our purview. But I guess I could phrase it, rather than getting into the specifics of what happened, I could phrase it as best as I can as a question. What is usually the procedure here in this department, maybe a county thing, when you respond to a medical emergency, traffic accident, something like that, and it unfortunately becomes a fatality, and you're waiting for a licensed funeral professional to take custody of the body to do whatever has to be done, whether it's the coroner, whether it's a mortician. Is it the policy to have a law enforcement representative remain there until the funeral professional arrives? Or is it procedure for them to, after the courtesy of determining that maybe it was not a homicide, to the best of your
Sure.
knowledge, is it customary to leave the scene and until the funeral professional arrives, then there'd be a lag time there? There wouldn't be anybody representing
Sure.
the city or law enforcement.
Yeah, short answer is no, we will not leave the scene. If it's an accident or any type of death in the public right of way, public road, sidewalk, anything like that, and we respond, even if it's not criminal in nature, an accident can be this, that, it could be an accident. Anybody could have a medical emergency, unfortunately, and pass away, on a public sidewalk or anything like that. But we will stay on scene. Obviously, we have screens and stuff like that to block the body and stuff like that, so people don't have to be viewing that. But we will stay on scene. It's going to be the coroner, so anything like that will be the coroner that responds. So we will stay on scene. We work with the coroner because there's information that we're going to give the coroner as far as our initial investigation on scene there. And we will stay there until the coroner and the body is taken away by the coroner.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, we will not go and then leave and then come back or leave it up to a layperson or anybody other than a police officer.
And in the event, has there ever been, in your recollection, a civilian that has said, it's okay for you to go, I'll remain with the body until the funeral professional, the coroner, or whoever else arrives?
Not that I've experienced, and I haven't heard any officers experiencing that.
Okay. All right.
Hey, Chief, I was going to ask you, dispatchers, are they working our calls? If we get called out or get a call, are our dispatchers working our calls?
Currently, right now,
Yeah.
they're just working Desert Hot Springs.
But
So just our-
Cathedral City, but they're working our stuff.
Yeah, still at Cathedral
That's pretty
City like we were before we got our own center. but just working our radio calls. So that makes them, that helps them get familiar
Yeah,
with,
so our
with
guys
our
are-
officers in
our
the city.
people are doing it.
Correct, correct.
Excellent.
Yeah, just, just as a follow-up to Ken's, the only time I've ever heard of us leaving before is like the coroner's on the phone with the decedent's doctor or something, and the decedent's doctor said he or she's gonna sign a death certificate. And,
Yeah.
Yeah, and then.
There could be, and that would be like at a residence, like
Yeah,
you're in a
that'd be an
private
unattended
residence
at
or
a-
something like
yeah,
that, and
something
someone
like
had a
that.
medical condition already or something like that, yeah.
Or like CDF's been out there and they've pronounced it and everything, but yeah, we never leave.
Yeah, and in my experience, I had.
Since the sheriff department took over the coroner changed all of their operational things, and no, you don't move, you don't even touch anybody. Because it brought to mind the question, how does law enforcement handle it now that, like, as far as checking for donor or something like that, they still have to wait for the coroner?
Yeah, we won't. It's
Yeah, okay.
Totally up to the coroner, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. My only comments really for the police is two things. One, it's so cool to hear that Cathedral City is handling this separation of service, but that just goes to Chief Crum. The Chief Crum is he's one of the best individuals, just as a person, you'll ever meet, and he's just a great chief of police. He has a great department over there, and and I've worked with him at the college, and it's just so wonderful to hear that he and his department are so professional in how they're handling that and allowing us to do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's brotherhood, sisterhood at the best, and next time I see him, I'm really going to thank him. So thank you for briefing us on what they're doing for us. That's great. I do have a question though. Two Bunch Palms Trail, there's a lot of social media stuff going on about the parking out there. I've had to drive out there a couple times, but the only one thing that concerns me is there's all those orange cones in the middle of the road. And I'm like, is that something the city placed there, or is someone just decided to place orange cones in the middle of our road? And I just had to tell Mr. Karp, nope, there's a traffic study and you can't put nothing in the road. But here we go down Two Bunch Palm and there's all these orange cones down the middle of the road, which is obviously not what I would call an effective. I don't know what the hell they're doing there, right?
Yeah.
So is that?
I would have to check who put them there.
Yeah.
The PD didn't put them there, and I don't know if, the city usually does a lot better than that, so.
Yeah,
so
I
I'll have to
was,
check on that.
I'm like, I don't think this is the city do it. And almost like they put them up there to create like, hey, this is a safety zone where people are going to be running across the street, which is not a positive thing. But see, I could see us putting a stop sign at one of those cross
Sure.
streets there with a really nice cross, if the traffic engineers say so, because that is a raceway through there.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe that's something we should be looking at, is how to make that yeah, I think there could be a stop sign midway on that street there. But yeah, maybe you can take your crews out there and
I will.
just say those aren't ours. Okay. Anything else for the police department?
I'd like to get in on what you just talked about there.
Sure, please.
I'm not sure why, when they, I don't know, whoever decided to build those places, they don't put in parking lots. I mean, I know land's expensive, but that parking along that place, Two Bunch, is really bad, now that you mentioned it. And it's dangerous, actually. So is it going to stay that way, Chief? I mean, that's just going to be the standard parking along like that? And
Well, I don't know if that's, I don't think
Yeah.
that's something the chief should handle. That's a planning commission issue, and
yeah, that's what I mean.
I'd kind of,
I know it's not our thing.
yeah, I kind of, if it becomes a big issue where they're out there and they have to write tickets or handle fatal traffic collisions and it's affecting the budget, then I would,
I
yeah.
totally understand what you're saying.
But yeah, I don't think we should go to the planning commission's thing.
Yeah.
They have a great mission,
When
and
you mentioned that, it made me think about that.
yeah.
You're right.
See, we can go to traffic with the cones in the middle of the road. That's our little area, but yeah. But it's a great question, and maybe we should go to a planning commission meeting and post it and see if they can work on that. So, anything else for the chief?
No, well, just congratulations on the opening of your new dispatch center. Yeah, we attended that function. Commissioner Eastman was there as well, and it's something to be proud of. Yeah, I think the dispatch center in and of itself is a recruiting tool. I can imagine somebody getting being signed off a post or going through their dispatch academy and says, you know what, I think I want to be, especially to be in on the first cloud-based dispatch center. That's a history maker, and
It's
You know,
pretty
you
cool.
got, there's a lot of people up in Silicon Valley that are green with envy, so congratulations.
Yeah, I missed it. I was at an event with my wife and my dog. We had to go buy a motorhome, so needless to say, I missed it. But I've worked in that building space there, and I think my office is gone now. Did you tear out the 2 offices in the back? Yeah, my office is gone now. My last office in that building's gone, so, which is probably a good thing. So, but I'll pop in and look at it. Yeah, I look forward to it, because it sounds, I won't know what the hell any of it's doing, but it sounds pretty cool. So congratulations. I mean, just the fact your staffing is where you're at already, and you've already got them handling DHS calls, I'm very impressed. I'm very happy. So all of our first responders, fire, I mean, I've been watching them cruise around, and I mean, they do a great job. It's just, we're really blessed here in town. So, and hopefully we get that medic unit pretty soon and help lessen the burden on 37.
That would be nice.
Yeah, that would be awesome. So I know you guys are working on it.
Really, really good things on the horizon for the city in
Yeah.
terms of fire service, so.
Yeah, you guys are,
We're definitely moving in the right direction.
yeah, you and city staff, it's really looking good. So I feel better knowing I'm going to get old here and someone here to take care of me. So, all right, we'll go ahead and move on to commissioner reports. Anyone want to start? Lee, go ahead.
I just want to say, now that you brought it up, I appreciate yesterday, last meeting, where the city attorney came in and brought us up to date and kind of gave us an idea what we were doing wrong and doing right, and how we should handle things, and our parameters that we work with, but we shouldn't be touching, which was a good example with the parking that I mentioned, and that's a good example that that's not our billywhack, and that's a good point, because she gave a good presentation, so we just need to listen. So like I should have listened to that, and that's exactly what that was about. And she did a great presentation, so we needed that. And we got plenty to do, plenty on our plate, so we don't need to get in somebody else's billywhack. So I really got to say, and I think the operations center is really, the dispatch is outstanding. It's really I was impressed. I was really impressed. Because I know when I first came to the city, and I was at the department, it's like a whole new world. And I came here in 2007. And I can remember when I came in here and I went for a ride along, and we had, the police officers had their own laptops, and that's how they were working. I said, I came from a larger department, so I went, "Where's your computers at?" I said, "We don't have computers." So, I mean, it's really grown. I'm really impressed how this city has grown since 2007. I mean, it's just amazing how things have happened. So you guys are doing a great job, and actually, it's just been an ongoing. Everybody, the new chiefs, all of them have worked hard at it, been at it, and right along, you just move right along. You've done great jobs, and just keep it up.
Ken?
Well, a couple of things. One, I took the liberty of driving around. I've been checking out social media and getting feedback from them. There was one property, and I drove around and looked at a couple of other ones. I guess there's a property known as the Sahara. I think you've mentioned it a couple of times, and someone left some rather disturbing language spray painted on the inside of it. And I was just kind of concerned about the general condition of the structure itself. It's open, the walls aren't sealed, it's easy to go into the labyrinthine interior of the structure, and from a fire protection standpoint, certainly, it's just a matter of time as the temperatures become colder and the wind kicks up. There's a good chance of having transient people wander in there and decide to, maybe set a little fire. And as you understand how fires burn, the more broken up a structure is, the easier it ignites and burns, and then that becomes a hazard to all the surrounding homes and things. And this was going to be something I was going to bring up to code compliance to find out exactly what the process, where we stood with, not just that property, but some other abandoned properties. I think one's at the southeast corner of 5th and Palm, and I guess there's a couple of former hotels up there that are now vacant, empty, and in the process of either being emptied or maybe waiting to be torn down or something. But I was concerned about the hazard these structures present. And I wanted to see. I understand the wheels of justice turn slowly.
Yeah, yeah.
Very slowly, so I didn't want to, I'm definitely not going to beat anybody up over it. I just was curious.
No,
as to
and
what was
Christina
going on.
can certainly give you some more information at the next meeting, but obviously, it is red tagged. We do find ourselves out there every now and then with trespassers on there and stuff, because it is still open. It's very much like when we went through the process with the Hyundai Hotel. And it was a process, and unfortunately, this still is, and Christina's the expert on that, so I don't want to dive into that too much. But
And it was a process in 1986 when the coffee spa was still at Palm and 8th.
So,
Yeah.
so it is an active project, and I'll make sure she knows you asked about it, so that next time she can have
Okay.
some specific information for you.
Okay, I look forward to it. And the only other thing I had to do is I wish that Mr. Soriano was here. I know he's an alchemist, you know, I'm waiting for him to turn lead into gold in front of me. He can do anything else. I've sent a couple emails to various people, city staff and everything, and nobody's getting them. So I don't know if the problem's on my end or on his end. So I was gonna sit down with him, because I had a couple of other projects in the works, and they're kind of stalled because there's no communication going back and forth.
You can always email me as well, and make sure it get to the appropriate people.
Okay, I will I'll take you up on that. That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, good deal. Yeah, and you don't even know what dispatch at Desert Hot Springs TPD was in 1986. You don't even want to know what that was, so. One person, and they had a little office that was probably like 8 by 8, and one part went out on the lobby and the other part went out in the main. Of course, the whole station was only maybe 500 square feet. So, no, I take that back, like 1,500 square feet, because there was a chief's office, the evidence room was a closet, and we had one bathroom, and yeah, it was, it's, you know, it's incredible to see where it's gone, so very impressed. It's, hopefully we, you know, you get a lot of good positive write-ups from, you know, about being the first to start the cloud-based thing. It's pretty cool. It's good stuff. The only thing I really have is that for the October meeting, can we get that police staffing recommendation that we were talking about, and get that? I mean, look, you know, people are going to go, oh, you're trying. No, all we're trying to do is establish where we think we need to be as a community as far as where we think staffing should be for the police department. You know, it's a budgetary concern. Obviously, it's a service concern. But the other thing is like I mentioned before a few months ago, you know, we sort of ignored the fire department for many years, and we were blessed to have them and city staff get together and us get together, and Ken and Donna helping out to get the squad, you know, get the new medic unit coming. That's something that's been due a long time, and we got that done. But because we've been taking care of creating a whole new animal control, creating a whole new code compliance, city's been doing that. We haven't, well, we kind of start things, and then city staff takes them and runs with them and does a great job. You know, and then we got fire going. Well, we've kind of ignored police since the police versus sheriff debate, and that was 6 years ago. So, you know, so the goal here is not to tell the city you have to get more police officers. The goal is to tell the city, look, this is what we think we need, and this is where we believe, or we should be. And this is going to be our goal that we're going to try to work towards that. So, you know, it doesn't mean that once we get that report in October, you know, 50 more police officers are going to show up. No, that's not what the goal is. The goal is to, just like we did with fire, what's it going to cost for a squad? What's it going to cost for a medic unit? What's the personnel costs? And then once we got that, okay, can we do that? And even if we can't do it today, let's look at that for like 3 or 4 years from now and see if our revenue stream is increasing, and prioritize that for a future revenue stream. So that's what our goal is at the October meeting, is to get that. You guys agree with that? You think that's okay?
I agree. Certainly, and just in keeping, and just to dovetail into that, just keeping informed by the news and what's going on nationally. You know, we do have an initiative for $13 billion for 100,000 additional police officers.
Well,
If that comes to fruition, it would be nice to, get some of that, get a little bit of that resource.
well, the only problem with that resource is it comes with strings, and those strings is that the first year it's 100, the second year of that officer it's 75, the third year it's 50, and then like fourth year, it's like 0. And one of the other cities here in the Coachella Valley doubled the size of their police department doing that, and 3 years later, they lost their police department because they could not afford, and they had to contract with the sheriff. And we do not want to see that happen
That's
here.
the downside.
Yeah, you got to be very careful with easy money. It sounds so easy. We're just going to give you, no, it doesn't go that
Sounds like
easy.
the SAFER Act.
So,
Sounds
but
very
anyway,
much like it.
but yeah, it's a good point to look at grant. There could be grant fund, maybe it's for special, like traffic, there's usually always money in traffic. So, but yeah, that's what I'm hoping. So can we get that placed on the agenda for October?
Understood.
You're the man. All right. Anything else for the good of the order? No? Okay. It looks like we made it through summer. We got big rainstorms coming. I'm sure the chief, fire chief, and police chief are going to be busy for a couple days, so hunker down, everybody. Be safe.
We are planning on increasing our resources in the valley in terms of our swept water teams and stuff this weekend.
Yeah, and I'm,
Be available for water rescue.
with the east winds and then the rain coming, is that going to help Hemet?
The weather model that we're looking at right now looks like they may only get winds and no wetting rain for
Oh.
when it takes a little bit of a turn and it gets moisture out of it. But right now, it's not optimistic. When I spoke to some of our commanders of the fire earlier this evening to get an update on the fire
Yeah.
review, they are very, very concerned about the winds and the rain.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. Well, good luck. Good luck. We hope it works out good for you.
I went to Yucca today. Did it have rain up in Yucca, do you know?
I don't know about Yucca
It
Valley.
poured here this morning at 6 o'clock.
I live in Topeka, and I spoke with my roommate mid-morning, and she indicated that we got about 15 minutes of some pretty steady rain.
Yeah, 'cause I went up there and the streets were all wet, and they had signs up there, flooded areas.
No, 6 a.m. It downpoured up in the north end of town. It woke me up, so.
Obviously, we just, want people to slow down, make sure they have their
Yep.
seatbelts on, leave a little bit earlier so you get there safe.
Perfect.
Keep an eye out for emergency vehicles as we're spotting emergencies, make sure you yield the right away.
Yeah, perfect.
Things that'll keep us all safe.
Couldn't
And
have
just
said it
one
better.
last aside, school's open, so let's slow down and watch for the kiddos as
Very
they
much.
come and go to and from school.
All right, well, thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. And look forward to next month. I really am. I'm looking forward to that. So, all right, thank you, everybody. Good night.